I'm going live now. We
Okay,
are
cool.
yes, we're live again, y'all. I'm sorry. Technical difficulties, whatever you want to call it. I gotta hear the rest of this.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Being old, we were talking about Neek's story, man, his backstory. He done been halfway homeless. Now he found himself back in Texas working AR. Travis Scott wasn't nobody, and he was managing them. Where do we go from here, man? So what happened with that?
Yeah. So, give me 1 second. Wifey to text me like, "Oh, can you order some pizza?" She she let I get a pie pizza once a week. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And I'm like, you know what? I didn't get that pie this week, so that's no problem. So
Bro, you East Coast for real, man. You all the way.
man, I found an East Coast pizza spot. I get a pie there every week,
Really?
bro. Got
You
that.
in LA calling pizza pie still.
Yeah, I just ordered a pie pizza in 2 seconds, bro.
Really? That's what's up. That's what's up.
Uh, but yeah, shout out to my grandma, man. My entire family on my mom's side is from Flatbush, Brooklyn. I used to live in Flatbush in my younger days when my parents divorced the first time. Um, and so she's second to last stop on the 2 train, long train. It takes like an hour and some change to get from the city to there.
Okay.
So my schedule is I wake up there about 6:30, hop on the train, and shout out to her because she's the amazing cook. So I'll have my breakfast with her and my dinner. She always makes sure I'm eating.
Right.
So that's why that $20 it kind of stretched. I kind of got to eat, within like I could eat for free at my internship,
Okay.
but it's like so my schedule's okay. Wake up really early, get to the office by 9 a.m. sharp,
Yeah.
um, and then I leave the office at 5. And then I was managing Quad Studios. Quad is like a legendary studio. That's where Pac got shot, and where
Wow.
Biggie,
Really?
all of the top artists, back in the days, and still to this day.
What's the name of it again?
Quad Studios.
Quad Studios? Okay.
When Pac got shot in the
Yeah.
lobby, Quad
Yeah.
Studios. Yep, it's right
Okay.
on
That was the
like
name. Okay.
it's
I
like
knew
on
that, but man, that's
45th.
yeah, wow.
Yeah, so Epic Records, which is the label I was in. This is at the time they were like the hottest label because LA Regis came there. Um, he brought Sylvia Rone. This is when Future got signed, Yo Gotti. Um, you know, this is where everything is Bobby Shmurda. Like I've
Right.
seen all of these guys
Really?
in this office, and Travis Scott was one of them.
Really?
Because so by 5 o'clock, I'm in the studio from
Okay.
5 to maybe like 10 or 11. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Because I had to manage the studio. My
Right.
department is A&R. We had to manage the studio.
So you're producing, you're what
No,
are you
I'm just managing a studio where because they rented out the entire studio. I'm
okay.
talking thousands of dollars a month, like maybe
Yeah.
like $50,000 a month. I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's sessions with artists in there. They have scheduled sessions with all the artists, producers, writers. So I'm just there as a rep for Epic as
Okay.
an intern. So eventually I bring her, my boss, Travis Scott and Ashley Travis. And Travis just dropped his first video as a solo artist. And she was just super intrigued. And things were starting to bubble up for him. Um, because Ti reached out to him and he saw his songs and he wanted to do a song with him.
Okay.
So he was over there, in Atlanta
Right.
doing his due, and so my boss is like, "Yo, where he's at? Like, I want to meet him. What's good?" I'm like, "Oh, he actually is like with Ti right now." And she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I know Ti's right hand man, Jason Jeter."
Okay.
So she made a call and she flew over there that weekend and met him. And the next week he brought him back to Epic Records, and now Ti's involved because
Right.
Jason Jeter, Ti, like
Right.
they
I
want to
had
do
them
music.
first.
Yeah, they want to do music, but now,
Right.
so important part of the story, Trav's crew, because he had his own crew, and they used to email everybody, email beats, email him, email
Yeah.
Trav shit, and they emailed his stuff to Anthony Killoffer. He's a big engineer. He engineered a lot of Kanye stuff,
Right.
and he was all part of good music and stuff like that. Also from Chicago, and he Killoffer wanted to keep him close as like his intern because
Right.
he liked his beats. He thought his beats was good, and he thought his raps was just too Kanye-ish.
Yeah, yeah,
But he wanted to keep him close for the music side, and he would not bring him to Kanye because Kanye would just take him.
yeah. Right.
But because he came to my label at Epic Records to my job, he had a meeting with LA Reid and just wowed him. And LA is like, no, we got to sign this kid.
Yeah.
And so for the next 30 days, it was like a bidding war between him and Kanye because now Killoffer showed Travis to Kanye.
Okay.
And when Kanye met him, he like, oh nah, I need you to do the drums on this. And like he
Right.
went in the studio, now he
Right.
working on everything.
Right.
And LA Reid's like, hold on, he's with Kanye. Like, so now it's a bidding war between Def Jam and LA Reid with T.I. and going back and forth. And Trav was just running up the bill.
Right.
I managed the studio. So he in the studio, he shut down the studio. Now he got the studio. Now the studio that I managed, the one side is all his.
Who paying for it?
The Epic. They're paying for
really?
it to schmooze him, to sign him.
Right.
So for that whole month, he was running up the bill, smoking, alcohol, free studio time, just cooking up. And at that time now my night went from 9 to 5. Now I'm in the studio from 5 to like 2 in the morning.
Right.
And all I'm doing is smoking. I'm not eating. Right. So, bro, I was like 160 pounds, bro. Like I lost mad
Everybody
weight.
looking like crackheads, bro. Like,
bro, I was frail, bro. Frail. And eventually, I remember him calling me. It's just like, man, I don't know who to sign with. I don't know what to do. And I was like, look, and I never gave him advice. I didn't give him unwarranted advice. So when he came to me, I was like, okay, I got to get this nigga to sign because everybody now looking at me.
Yeah.
All my bosses is like, what the fuck is this? Like, get this kid that's like, why is he not signing? Like he's playing games.
Yeah.
And LA Reid don't play that. Like you can't leave the building when he says, I'm gonna sign you. Because obviously people would take that and try to use it as leverage to get other people to sign him.
Right.
So the fire was on me, and I told her, like, look, if you look on a Billboard top 100 powerful people, you see Kanye at like 60 and you see LA Reid at like 30.
Yeah.
I said, with somebody like LA Reid in your corner, you can get more shit done.
Yeah.
And you can use his power and his leverage to get shit done.
Yeah.
And a few days later, he ended up choosing Epic Records.
Okay.
So
what say you now?
What'd you say?
Do you think that was the right decision? I mean, Kanye's going through a lot right now. You think Kanye would have took Travis further than LA Reid did?
Nah, I mean, Trav is a master finesser. Master finesse. He the talent was there, but the social skills was at a high level. So even though he didn't sign with Kanye, he made it look like he was signed to Kanye.
Right.
And he was still signed with T.I. and LA Reid. So Kanye had him everywhere and doing everything.
Right.
And people still to this day think he signed to Kanye.
Yeah.
Or was signed to Kanye.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He utilized everything that Kanye had to offer and all his connections and the look and the fanatic structure of like having diehard fans, all of that shit. Yeah. He got everything he wanted if he would have signed.
Trav was a movement, bro. He was a movement. Yeah. He started a what was the name of the in Houston, man? The amusement park that he was
Astro World. That was always there, but he brought it back. Yeah,
he brought it back.
Astro World back.
Yeah, and people just loved the dude, man. He was a whole movement, bro. Kind of like Kanye. Yeah, it's crazy that, I mean, you probably would have lost your job if he wouldn't have signed with him. So good thing he did. But
it's funny because I found myself in a really hard place because although my friend is getting signed, and my friend did want to look out, he wanted to look out for me, and I was just entrusted in the process that I was going to be looked out, because even like people like Jason Jeter and my boss, they told me like, just wait, like we got you, because I was so new. Like they just probably felt like they didn't have to put me on it. And everybody was taking the credit. We got like 5 people. We got 5 chefs in the pot. We ain't gonna give no intern no credit.
Right.
So I found myself making the decision to leave the label.
Okay.
I ended up leaving the label, which could have been really, which was really prideful of me to do so.
Yeah.
But I did leave and I just moved in with Trav. He was in LA. So I moved back to LA and I was with the crew living with him in
Okay. Okay.
LA. And but even before that even happened, the craziest shit did happen to me. And I don't really talk about this, but I am gonna do a documentary kind of talking about this.
And we get an exclusive here on the VNO.
This is exclusive. I mean, people know me back in the day,
Yeah.
because this like Howard is like a small high school,
Yeah.
and I've been grinding for so long, and people really wanted to see me fall or at least like hit a hard place, and this the most bizarre, still to this day, maybe the most bizarre day of my life had happened to me, where I was with the crew. Travis wasn't around. I was with the crew. And my girl at the time was in Harlem. We was going to be watching Dark Knight, and I was going to get some weed just to smoke.
Yeah.
We could smoke before the movie. So I'm down in the city in the Lower East Side, and we walk in, and I'm trying to get trying to get some weed, and I don't know what they had planned, but we go into this store, and who's in there is rapper A$AP Rocky.
Yeah.
And his manager Chase Infinite.
Yeah.
And the manager ends up getting in an argument with one of my homies who grew up with Trav. He was a young nigga. He was probably like 16, 17, young kid. And his manager may have been like 42 at the time.
Oh, come on, man. Yeah.
So they arguing about nothing. He calling him weird and stuff like that. And he ends up kicking us out of the store.
Okay.
So I'm talking to the older dude. I'm like, yo, like, relax. Like, this dude's a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm 20 myself, but I'm like, yo, this dude's a kid. Like, why you gotta argue with him and do all this extra stuff? And then he turned to me. He's like, nigga, like, he verbatim was saying, like, I get one of my little niggas for you. He just kept repeating that, like, I get my little niggas, Yeah. So my tone was low. It wasn't on some like blah 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 shit. I was just talking to him like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Somebody sucker punches me.
What?
Punches me from behind.
How many
niggas was right? Maybe like 4 or 5, bro.
What?
But to be real, none of them are street dudes. You know what I mean? Like literally tight jean wearing, artsy type of dudes. But a few of them is from Houston. You know what I mean? So it was like one of them was this DJ that I went to Howard with.
Right.
But still, like, for somebody to be able to get behind me and hit me, that was one of the most. You got to understand how shocked I was. And it wasn't like I got dropped or none of that. Like, somebody hit me from behind, and I looked to the DJ. I'm like, yo, who the fuck hit me?
Right.
Like, because at this point, I'm thinking it's one of my homies. Like,
I know none of y'all hit me.
Yeah, like, I was like, who the fuck hit me? And he was like, fool, it was A$AP Rocky.
What?
And I turned and I see this nigga Rocky tussling with a camera dude, because there was a camera dude in my face when I was talking to his manager. And I guess that because he had the camera, he was trying to take the evidence.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking at him in shock.
Right. What you hit me for?
And then 2 cops come out of nowhere and arrest Rocky.
What?
Bro, when I tell you all of this shit happened in the span of a minute, bro, 60 seconds.
Really? That's how I go.
So now he's locked, he's in handcuffs, and I'm not a manager's like, yo, that should never happen. He's talking to me like, that should never happen. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, what the? I was like,
and really, it was his fault. You 40 years old, you started an argument, and
it was all his fault, bro.
Right.
Because he was really enticing Rocky to do the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And long story short, because that whole thing is just, ridiculous. Long story short, my brother, I didn't know, but he was really a clout chasing ass nigga.
Yeah.
Because he looked at that as an opportunity to shoot the fade with him.
Yeah.
And get paid.
Yeah.
But shooting the fade was the original thing, and that's what I was for. I was like, nigga, I'm trying to shoot the fade. I'm talking to this nigga. I'm like, nigga, we need to shoot the fade. Blah, blah, blah. Right. And he's like, oh, nah, he ain't really about that. Like, they just type G wearing, they ain't not about that, blah, blah, blah. That shouldn't have happened. So now my brother like, nah, you gotta not only meet us to shoot the fair, you gotta bring some bread and manager wasn't with none of that. He wasn't
Right.
gonna do it. He didn't want to do it.
Right.
And eventually everything gets on the press now that Rocky beat up some camera dudes and he's like this big bad wolf dude. And
is it? Wait, bro. So it's out there. Hold on.
it should be. This is 2010.
Really?
This is
It's out
2010.
there.
So there's two sets of press. That press,
Yeah.
and then my brother had a manager that was his attorney that got him out of jail multiple times, and he was his attorney, Karam Nahas.
Okay.
So they convinced me. I was only 20. They convinced me to sue Rocky because everything is in the press. He just got this big ass deal, and now he's using you. My name wasn't involved in it, but now he's using his experience to sell albums.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it all happened right before his album drop, his debut album drop. And I'm just pissed off. I was just so mad, and I felt like the only silver lining to that was off.
Yeah.
And he could, you know, whether it's Pollock, because I was a real nigga. Like I was like, I've never been in any experiences like this in my life, bro.
Right.
And everybody, even in my hood, was just pissed off because everybody know me as being a good nigga. Like,
right.
I didn't have to be in the streets. I was always solid.
Yeah, you went the other way, and then you get punched by ASAP.
So, you know, my brother and his lawyer, they looked at an opportunity to get paid. They was all worried about that. And I was just so fucking mad about how it all went down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So eventually they had me sign some documents so they can sue him legally.
Yeah.
And it wasn't till like 4 or 5 months later that now they updated the story with my name, like, oh, I'm suing him because he went on a drug rampage and beat me down. Like it was like this over exaggerated story because the lawyers drew up this whole story of what happened that didn't happen.
Right.
So now my name is in here, making it seem like, you know,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
I don't think this is it because he got it. Nah, he got it mad. This is when he was in Sweden, I think.
Okay.
He got it mad situations like this. Mine was like one of the first. Okay. Yeah, mine was like the first, and then he was getting into situation after situation after situation.
So he thought he was a thug after he hit you.
I don't know, bro. Yeah. But so now my name is out there, and if you know Trav was big about just your name and like. Yeah. So now our relationship had to be kind of like hidden in a way.
Right.
To a point where when that article dropped, and it was like, I remember like it was like right before the new year. It was like a few days before Christmas.
Yeah.
And all of the whole crew, they all from Houston. I was the only nigga that wasn't from Houston. They all was in Houston. And the article dropped. I'm still at Trav crib. I didn't even get a flight to Jersey. Right. And they all called me like, yo, what the fuck is going on? What is this? Blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, I don't know. Like, you know, the paper that I signed had this whole story. Wow. So now it's in TMZ. It's everywhere. Like everywhere.
Yeah.
And Trav's like, man, I don't know if I could rock with you. This don't look good. And he knew the truth.
Right.
He's like, I don't know if I could rock with you. And I'm just like, fuck, like this is crazy.
Yeah.
So Trav ends up coming back, and he didn't realize that I was still in his crib. Like, I didn't even leave yet. So he come back, and like our relationship it acted like it never happened. You know what I mean? Because Trav is just, when you one-on-one with him, you see the real him. And he treated me like a brother, you know what I mean? That's and he kind of just, he said, fuck all of that, you know, because at the end of the day, when you get down to the nitty gritty, like I was the only nigga in the crew that was actually did something for his career.
Right.
To the point where I got him signed. You know, there was other people that helped. For nothing. Yeah. Like I got nothing from it.
Yeah.
So, and he always used to bring that up. He was like, Neek is the only nigga that did something, you know, because everybody else kind of was just riding the train in a way, you know. So he ended up ignoring all of that, and he didn't even really like Rocky's music to begin with, you know, because Rocky was trying to get him in the studio to work on his album and stuff like that, and he would go, but he never did anything for him. You know
Right.
what I mean? He
Right.
looked at that as a competitor versus a friend or
Yeah.
an ally.
Yeah.
So, you know, we act like nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? And there was times that, like, when the day that Trav opened up for Drake at the small little venue in New York, like I've been in the same room with Rocky and his friends multiple times. And you know, they didn't want no smoke because they knew I was Haitian. They knew where I was from. Like, they didn't know nothing about me until the fan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, for me, I end up dropping a lawsuit and everything. You know what I mean? And I went through my own life-changing experience where, you know, I found myself going back to God. You know what I mean? And just really being about religion and stuff like that. And I just felt like, you know what? Because when that article dropped, a few weeks later, his dad died.
Really?
You know
Wow.
yeah, his dad died. And then a few months later, ASAP Yams died. Wow. You know what I mean? So people close to him were dropping.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was just feeling bad. You know what I mean? So I had dropped a lawsuit. And
I mean, you didn't want to do it in the first place, right?
Nah, I wanted to get him by the balls where he could, like, because I was the type of dude, like, if he would have just apologized,
right?
Whether he apologized, whether we shoot the fade or friendly fade or whatever the case is, that would have been fine with me. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I just felt disrespected. Like, like, not only did he sucker punch me, he had like 4 rings in his hand, bro. Like, he sucker punched me with rings in his hand,
right?
And it was just like, I just felt disrespected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so long story short, man, like, I dropped the lawsuit or whatever the case is, and even with Trav, like, Trav wasn't like the best leader, and this is when I decided to step away from Trav, and this is like maybe like a year after the whole incident. So that has nothing to do with the incident. Like, I actually stepped away because I felt like I was just riding the train with all of the homies. And it's not like he blew up yet, and I knew he was about to. But I didn't want to find myself finding myself in this situation.
Right? Like, you trying to go to church and people around, there's women running through and weed going. And
But even before I got to that church level, it was more so I didn't know who myself was and who I wanted to be, because I thought I wanted to be this record executive type of guy, but I was leaning away from it. So I just remember, like, stepping away. Like, it was a little situation that happened, and I just used that as just a step away, you know what I mean?
Right.
And they always wondering, like, why? Like, they wanted me to stick around and all these different things, because I was an asset to everybody in the crew. Like, I was everybody's singular best friend. Like, and I was the business person. Everybody, like, you got fashion here, you got a DJ here, you got furniture designer here. I was business. I was the business dude. So everything I talked about was business ideas and all of that. So that was my role in the crew, and I was valuable to all of these guys, you know. But I stepped away, you know. I got right with God, and which was its own journey of understanding. That's how I got my extension Bay, because I went from Christianity to Islamism. And I recreated myself. You know what I mean? I figured that I need to read. I was a big reader back in the day when I was a kid. I bought a whole bunch of books on tech, everything, and I was just reading. And I told myself I'm going to get in the tech industry. So I went back to Howard. You know, I went from being undecided to getting into engineering school. And I learned computer programming. I was doing research development projects. You know, I went to one of my biggest projects was going to Cameroon, Africa. I designed the first portable weather station.
That's what I wanted to. Yes, that's wow.
Yeah. So I took a research development overseas project where me and other engineers from Howard partnered up with engineers from Cameroon, and we all had different projects. And my project was to design a weather station. And besides just designing a weather station, I created the first prototype of a handheld weather station.
That's so dope, man.
Because people weren't able to, like, you would have to run to the house to check the weather. You know what I mean? So I designed portable weather station.
Wow.
And this was in 5 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, 5 weeks in Africa, on Cameroon,
That's so
Africa.
dope, man. That's
Yeah.
so dope. And it's like usable. They were using it. This is
It was a prototype,
so
and I was told that they still use they've used my research and development still to this day.
wow. Wow. Now I did want to talk about, is this did you start, is it Relevant Systems?
So that's when I started Relevant Systems, because I noticed when I was there, I was communicating and connecting with these. And mind you, when I did this portable weather station, we got in the national, like the biggest news station in Cameroon. They interviewed me and my team, and they like, it was a big deal. Like,
yeah.
And I'm like, damn, like I just connected with these engineers here. We were able to do stuff. I was like, yo, I need to come back to the States and create a international team of engineers, just like I just did physically, virtually, and produce, design, and develop apps and websites and softwares for entrepreneurs, specifically minority entrepreneurs. So I was able to create Relevant System, which was a low cost mobile application and software application development firm. So we were designing entire apps, websites, software.
Shout out to you, man. That's dope, bro. It was
crazy. Yeah,
that's
one of the
dope,
hardest
man.
things I did, honestly, because software is so expensive. So to be able to do it on a low cost,
in Africa.
yeah. Well, I wasn't in Africa when I started the company in Africa, like the concept, and I came back to the States and created the business.
Wow.
So I had a team of designers, team of developers. I was managing them. We, at one point, we had an internship of 250 of students, all from third world countries, that were because I was able to partner up with a big school, a virtual school for coding, and he gave me 250 keys, access keys, and I was able to get 250 students all free access to learn coding. So it was a big deal, and this is what I did when I moved to Chicago. I was doing that the whole time while I was on the show, designing and developing software and applications and stuff like that.
So dope, man. So, for kids to learn, basically. It's Chicago, or does it matter? Does it? I mean, what?
So I just had that internship program virtually. They were all kids from Africa,
really,
from India. Like, it was third world country kids. They were in the age of like 17 and like 20.
Wow.
So they all were learning how to code for free. So, and
how old were you when you went back? How, like, what age? Because I know you hung out with Trav for a minute. So like, what was you, 21, 22 when you went back to Howard?
No, when I went back to Howard, I was this was in 2014. So we're looking at 20. I was like 24, bro.
24.
Back to Howard about like 24.
Bro, the ordinary people with extraordinary stories, man. This is what I'm talking about, bro. Not too many people go from like partying and smoking and a lot of times, man, people just fall off after that. You know what I mean? But like, you seem like through your life you've been able to like get crazy and then be like, all right, man, I can't do this no more. I'm about to, from high school to now you in your 20s and you get a little buck wild, bro. You could have stayed on that scene easy. And you was like, no, man, I want to do something. Shout out to you, man. Like, do something significant at that.
Wow. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but it was definitely worthwhile, because this was like one of the real first businesses. Because I always had different stuff going on, but this was like a real business that I first started, and I was just going through the motions of that. And how Baymos came about was by COVID time, where I'm like 4 years into the business. I was about to launch it outside of just minorities. I was about to now look for corporations and do all of that jazz.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, everybody don't know Baymos. What is Baymos here?
So when nice. Yeah. So when COVID hit, a family member of mine was wholesaling CMOS out to people, and he actually went to Jamaica and sourced it. He was wholesaling sea moss, and I was talking to him, and I was like, you know, this could be, if it's healthy, because my wife heard about sea moss because
Yeah.
she interviewed Nipsey Hussle and he was
Yeah.
talking about it, and I'm like, this could be something good,
Yeah.
because any business I start, it has to have some sort of social, altitude to it, like
Right.
where we
Right.
are giving, it's something that helps you, and we can make money while helping
Y'all
you.
hear that? That's he dropping. Look, you dropping
Yeah,
knowledge, man. That's the
yeah,
so yeah. Don't go starting shoe sole companies just because you got an idea. Like it already had some type of social backing to it, bro. Black
exactly.
people love sea moss, man.
No, it's
We
so
do.
popular now. Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't. We would have to educate people to. So basically, sea moss is a seaweed. It has a lot of power, a lot of minerals, because it attaches to rocks in the sea, and it's like this reaction that gives it all these minerals. And so you take it raw, and you're able to. You take it raw, and you're able to mill it into powder, and you can encapsulate it, or you can soak it in water and blend it, and you can make gel. So we were selling gel to start, and eventually, I remember the first month, like we had like $10,000 in sales, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, like this is
Wow.
this could be a real business.
Wow.
Me and my wife were just on Instagram,
Yeah.
going on live and then educating people about it. And I remember when we first started selling it was during was when we went to a wedding, my wife's cousin Danielle's wedding, and we had so many people watching our stories because they thought we were getting married for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like, yo, let's put because I took all of these pictures already. It was in my phone. I was like,
Right.
let's put this on Instagram, and let's see what people say. And it was selling out.
Yeah.
Like, we sold out our whole inventory all through. We taking Cash App, no websites,
Yeah.
and
Straight
people
cash up.
free
That's
Cash App, bro. And
really.
people thought we were crazy, man. They thought we were crazy because the packaging was all jacked up. We didn't
Yeah.
have a website. But I was like, nah, this could be a great business. So I actually restructured my company Relevant to design. To design, help me design all the products. I did the website myself, the first website, because I
Mhm.
did something simple. And then eventually I had my designers design me a full-fledged website, made a whole new website. And then we just started going hard. And then COVID hit. So now everybody wanted to be safe and for the immunity and stuff like that.
Right.
Yep. We started from the ground up,
Yeah.
and it just was blowing up. We've given CMOS to Lizzo, Winnie Harlow, so many different celebrities, the Breakfast Club, Dame Dash,
Yeah.
Teray Hart, the list goes on of the celebrities that has reached out to us for our CMOS. We had over 50,000 orders to this day, and it was just perfect timing,
That's
honestly.
dope, man. What year was that y'all started that you kind of because I took some sea moss to jail for him, bro. I'm glad you got into the pill forms. That jelly is
Yeah,
nasty.
it
It's
gets nasty. Yeah.
yeah. The pill,
So
I'm gonna take your Bay Moss pills. That jelly, I don't know
yeah,
if I can dig that.
yeah. No, the Bay Mouse Pills is where it's at. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was 2020 when COVID hit. So
Okay, so
right
2020, right? Yeah, I think probably right before COVID hit, man. Like my wife she gave me some for the first time. I was like, I can't dig this, man. But you know what? It worked. Like I
it
was sick.
works.
Yeah. Whole
It
house
works.
was sick, man, and it worked out. It worked. So now I'm gonna start doing the Bay Moss now. The pill form,
Yeah,
yeah, I could
you
dig
got
that.
that's the good stuff right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Y'all
yeah,
check them out on Instagram. I put it up. Bay Moss. Bay Moss. Y'all check him out, man. Holler at him on Instagram. You already got what? How many is that? 86,000 people. That's
yeah,
that's
yeah,
down with Bay Moss. That's man, that's so dope. Go ahead, go ahead. I'm listening, man. Where the
yeah.
popcorn at?
Yeah, no, that it's been 2020, we going on 2023, so we've been in business for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
um and this is where we at. So
Yeah.
It's 100% e-commerce. So right now I'm, actually got into a cohort. So we're getting free consultation from the Boston Consult Group.
Okay.
And they're helping us create a plan to uh, broaden our horizon, because all our customers come from our social media.
Right.
So now we want to kind of broaden it out outside of our social media and just focus on creating better products, and continue cultivating the mission, because this is something that only it's like an African American culture thing,
Yeah.
and we want to make sure we're at the right place when it becomes a national thing.
Yeah.
More people outside of
Yeah.
our culture is taking it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that's where we at with Baymos now. Is just me and my wife just trying to get the content keep going, and
Right.
figuring out ways to do great marketing, and then keep on spreading the word.
Y'all, man, you created marketing with your name. Bro, it's probably good that God has a mysterious ways of working, man. You kind of wonder what would have happened if you would have went through with that lawsuit, and
Yeah,
what your name be, what your name is now. You
yeah,
would have done some things. Maybe it would, but who knows, man? It might not have. You do things. My podcast I sent you was about making choices. And a lot of times we make choices, man, that shape our future. And sometimes we make those choices, and then when bad things do happen to us, a lot of times we be like, man, I don't know how that happened. But a lot of times, man, you could channel things back to the choices that we've
yeah,
made, and
yeah,
channeling this back, man. You have a good name out there. You got people following you. You're trying to do right by your community, man, and that's probably did well to do that, to drop that
yeah.
lawsuit.
Yeah, I say that all the time. You got to look back and see how things went. And I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. My ex-girlfriend was like, "Man, you wilding for dropping that. You need to sue them. You
That's
need to
why she
keep
ex.
going with it." Right. And she got in my head. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yo, you right." But there was a reason why that happened, because I later found out that my attorney that I had was actually disbarred.
Really?
Yeah. So my attorney was disbarred, and all those interactions, he was playing me. So I don't even know if he actually cut a deal with this with Rocky and his people all
Wow.
along. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I'm glad I'm glad she told me that, because I would have never did my own research after, because
Yeah.
it was just something was off. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
No
but yeah,
doubt.
man, these all I look at all my decisions and understand why things happen. It still is one of the most bizarre things that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
But I just think the universe was just protecting me, and the reason why I even stepped away from music was to find myself, and I did that. And I'm at a position now. Me and my wife, we left the show because we just weren't being treated right.
Mm-hmm.
And we moved here to LA, and this is my third time living in LA. And now we are focusing on producing TV shows. We got a few TV shows we're trying to get bought, and I've been writing movies.
Really?
And yeah.
Wow.
So and God willing, there's one particular concept that a company is very interested in. So if everything goes as planned, within the next 6 months of the new year, I should have my first movie.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, at a popular streaming service. So it's juggling the scripted and the non-scripted world.
Yeah.
That on the non-scripted side, me and my wife is trying to be, do the dating reality shows and the social experiments, things like you see, like Love Is Blind, or like
Yeah. Which is dope, man. I checked
Yeah.
y'all out, man. I checked out a lot, man. Y'all got Neek has a podcast, y'all. Go check him out. Is it The
Yeah.
Bays? It's
So it's The Base TV is our YouTube channel, but
okay.
our podcast is called Marriage or Mirage. And it's basically about the good, bad, and the ugly when it comes to marriage and divorce.
Yeah.
And engaging.
It's pretty funny too. Like it's
yeah.
It's some funny parts. I know it's probably is it more serious, or is it you try to
It
add a
gets
comic?
it gets serious because a lot of we highlight mirage marriages, which
Mhm.
is women or men that are in a marriage where they think it's a marriage but is a mirage, like whether the partner is narcissistic or
Mhm.
um, insecure or a cheater or living a double life.
Yeah.
These women so far it's been mainly women just telling their stories of and these are popular women, Hazel Eves from Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah.
We
Delicious
just
you just had
we
on,
just
right?
had
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah.
We had two couples. I mean, we had a couple from Love Is Blind, Netflix. We had a couple from Love Is Blind, Jared and Ayana. Jared is from Chicago, and
Okay.
we had Cole from the newest season on it. So it's getting a lot of great reception and great comments, and people are really loving the platform. So this is something that eventually we would love to do a TV show with, just like highlighting amazing marriages and then highlighting not so amazing marriages, so people
Yeah.
can kind of learn from the good and the bad,
Right.
and it can help them for their future when it comes to finding love or making a decision to leave a situation that they're in that's hurting
Yeah.
them.
That's so dope, man. That's bro, I had talked to some people, man. They love your wife, Charmaine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, she,
Luke and Ari, they love your wife, Charmaine, man.
yeah,
Tell her V&O gave her a shout out, man.
we'll do it.
But man, dude, this is amazing, man. I hope this isn't the end of our relationship. I just want to come and hang out with you.
Yeah, kind
This
of,
is
yeah,
this is the story that I wanted to hear, man. This is what's up. I got to give a shout out, man, to some of my peoples, man. Dope Living TV Live. Y'all, thank you, man. I wouldn't be here. You hear Neek telling his story, man, about some people that helped him out. Dope Living TV Live. Greg Gray had a video show back in the day, 925 videos. And Dope Living TV, he's always there for me, man. Shout out to y'all, man. I
that's
love
right.
y'all. Y'all check them out every day. They're a podcast too.
Oh,
Dope
we're
Living TV Live. They're a
dope.
network, and I'm trying to create a network here, man. And bro, to
That's
sit
dope.
and listen to you, man, moving, just you out here moving, man, and wow, man,
I
wow.
appreciate it. Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me and allowing me to come and talk. And I feel like, if I can inspire one person, and then it was mission accomplished. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Because all of this stuff counts. When you hear something that resonates with you, it all counts for your journey. And it's just all about continuing to pilot it up and to get to where you need to go.
yeah. No,
Hopefully
no doubt.
everyone here gets exactly what they desire, including
Yeah.
yourself.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you so much, man. That's what I'm about, bro. Ordinary people with extraordinary stories, because my story ain't about me. You know what I'm saying? It's about somebody that's trying to do what I'm doing. And I'm trying to do what you doing, and you trying to do
Right,
what somebody else is doing. And
right.
when they share their story, you might be able to see it a little bit better. You know what I'm
Love it.
saying? Man, shout out to you, man. Since we got knocked off the show, man. Thank you for coming back, man.
Of
Thank you
course.
so
Right, I could not showed up. Huh?
well, that's one thing. One thing, Greg Gray, man, he's been here from my very first podcast, man, and I'm still trying to make some moves. But I used to freak out, man, about, oh my god, what am I about to do, bro? I automatically went, just let me type up this other link. Hopefully he come back. If not, I'm gonna talk for an hour. but but
Nah,
man, I got
I
so many
got you.
sound bites from you, man, and you, bro, you're an amazing person, man. And like I said, bro, I hope this ain't the last time that we gonna do this, or I don't want to take your time, man. Anything that I could do for you, bro. I'm getting more into this. Anything that you don't have time for, just holler at me, man. I got all these graphics I'm doing. If you
Yeah,
think they cool, just holler at me, man. You gave me your time, and you can have some of my time.
will do, man. I'll
Yeah.
definitely let you know if anything new or popping come up, and I'll
Okay.
slide back in, and maybe I'll bring the wifey next time.
Yes, sir, man. We want to hear from the Bays with a S. I did get a question. Where did are you? So you were Nick before, and now they call you Neek. Is it
So
just
my original name is Shanique,
Shanique?
which
Okay.
is so funny because my older brother name is Lawrence. My younger brother name is Daniel. So you got Larry, Danny, and they named me Shanique.
Okay.
And but my family, my nobody calls me Shanique. My family calls me Nick.
Okay.
All my friends, like I grew up, everybody knows me as Neek.
Okay.
So I ended up shortening my name in like 2000 and I think it was like 15 or 14.
Okay.
So yeah, I just shortened my name, and so it's Nick spelled it's Neek spelled Nick, basically.
Okay. Cool,
Yeah.
man. I saw that question, man, and I didn't want to because it was a lot of people comment, man. But I highlight the comments. I kind of just wanted you to go ahead and do your thing, man, because this is an amazing story, bro. Amazing story. Usually I take people out with my intro, but forget it. It ain't about me, man. This week it's about Neek, man. This dude developing software, man, for third world countries, man. I forget Ron. Who was Ron V&O?
Stop.
No, man, but I really appreciate you, man. And I just want to tell you that, bro, I'm indebted to you for coming on, man. And we out.
Definitely, brother. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
I'm Neek Bay. I'm 26 years old, and I'm from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Being that I'm a very private... We're there. We just started our Las Vegas.
268 miles to go.
Rap, just got dressed real quick.
In 3 minutes.
This girl is butt naked. She gonna get, it's cold in Vegas. The girl is butt naked. And she gonna be taking some damn rubber tests tonight.